So today I'm taking a look at something completely unique, the Unholy Society on the Nintendo Switch. A tale of a priest who exorcises demons, but is no saint himself. I think Constantine Goes to Miami, and I think that'd be a great movie. But can this one live up to its incredible eShop artwork? It's a priest on a skateboard with a cigarette in his hand, smashing through a stained glass window, and yes, the title is indeed in neon. If that's the opening statement for this game, it's got a whole lot to live up to. So yeah, if you love the Switch as much as we do, hit that subscribe button. We have videos at this point nearly daily. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on this one, and let's get started. So here you're going to be taking on the role of Bonaventura Horowitz, the exorcist. Here the world is changing as demons, gods and monsters, they prepare for attack on our lovely little home called Earth. The aim's pretty simple: change the religious status quo to something more in line with our own beliefs. Now, at the request of the Pope himself, you and your friends are essentially on a mission from God. See Blues Brothers for my reference there, but you're going to be creating a whole lot of trouble on the way. Story-wise here, I went in hoping for, like an adventure title in the vein of like the good old LucasArts days, a religious twist almost, think like Monkey Island, Grim Fandango, and sadly it never reaches that caliber of storytelling, I can tell you that now. I can tell you it's trying extremely hard, it just doesn't reach it. There is, I will say, some good in here. There's a sarcastic sense of humour, a decent cast of characters, some fun enemies, each with personality, and then you even have the Pope on speed dial. It's a cool concept. Sadly though, for the most part, that humour that they've given us, it falls flat. It never made me more than, maybe smile a tiny bit. And then I'm all for adult humour, swearing, profane imagery and ideas. But again here, it just kind of felt forced, like it was trying to get some shock value out of it more than anything. Because yeah, it is a priest who's swearing, a typically very clean image, but I'd say that most gamers now, or at least most that would be picking this one up, are probably going to be a little bit, too mature to buy into it almost. Here they should have focused on the quality of the humour first, then added this adult twist to things. It's a shame as well when I look at it, because a lot of the NPCs in the game, they have some entertaining personalities that never just feel like they come to full fruition. I always looked forward to my next interaction, but it just never, every time I got to it, I was always kind of like slightly disappointed. For me, I was excited for this tale. The idea, in my opinion, it was a great one, and then as the story got going, what really caught me off guard was this isn't even a full story. It doesn't end here, because this is actually intended as the first chapter in a series. Now, I'm sorry, I'd love to know everyone's thoughts on this in the comments, but if this is a series of games, they really need to tell us this information in the eShop description. It was only on beating the game after like 45 minutes that here I got that sad realization. And yes, you heard that right too, gameplay, it clocks in at around the 45 to 60 minute mark in case you maybe get lost for a few minutes. Overall, what we're getting here is just a relatively short story that has a good idea, but it fails on the execution. When the story does hit that occasional joke that works, you really can see the potential it has. But it all ends abruptly, no warning, no nothing, just wait till chapter 2. I even revisited this world a second time to see if I could, get a little bit more out of it, to see if there was maybe branching paths or anything else. And all you're going to see is a bit of different dialogue, but that's about it. It impacts the game in no way. There's nothing more here. There's no reason for you to go back. Okay, gameplay wise, we get a 2D adventure title, so you basically move left or right, sprint, or should I say in this case, ride your skateboard, investigate the occasional location, so yeah, look at objects and solve the occasional super simple puzzle. The whole gameplay loop can basically be summed up as walk from point A to point B, have a conversation, find the object you need, have a fight. Loop that maybe 5 or 6 times, game over. Now the controls, I'm not complaining, they all work, that's for sure, but it's just extremely lackluster in its design itself. The game's just like way too easy here. I was not once challenged. Puzzles easy because, to be honest, there's no penalty for making a mistake. Most of the puzzles were either fetch something that was like a few seconds away, or choose a dialogue option. Let's say it was what's 2 plus 2 and you had 3 different options. You can choose the wrong one because there's no penalty for you making a mistake here. You just keep on interacting with the question until you get the answer right. It gave me no reason to go in specifically with that right answer first time around. Then the fetch quest, like there's an early one where you have to go meet your sister at her house, and basically all that involves is skateboarding from one end of the map to the other end of the map, and you might pick up an object or two on the way. It wasn't exactly thrilling stuff. It's missing that sense of, risk and that sense of accomplishment if you make a mistake or you get something right. 2D adventures, they rely on that feeling to keep you pushing forward, to make you feel like you, the player, achieved something and you wasn't just, jumping through the hoops. What then really adds to the simplicity of this one, it's the fact that everything you can interact with is highlighted in like a transparent circle that's just so easy to see. It never makes you feel like you really need to explore this world. I just skateboarded down, and every time I saw a circle I stopped, clicked the button and moved on. This game, it comes with 0 brain power required. What it needs is to add a hard mode where the symbols are removed, or something is done just to kind of mask them into the environment a bit more, to make them a little bit more difficult to find. So outside of this then, this core adventure gameplay, the rest it can be basically summed up as dialogue selection with NPCs that in no way, shape or form impact the story, and of course the combat, or the exorcisms should I say. These, I will say, they show some creativity, and they're by far my favourite part of this game. It's by far, anyone who plays the Unholy Society will talk about these battles and very little else. What they do is they combine RPG style attack choices with find the missing object gameplay. And it goes like this: you choose up to 3 attack types as you go into a battle. They're going to be displayed on your phone in the lower left corner. You can see here that each has corresponding symbols to kick them into action. So if you look here, you can see light attack needs 2 symbols, but medium needs 3. In first person mode here, you have a scope that can see these evil glyphs. So you've just got to find them around the screen and piece them together in the correct order to action and to kick that move in. I actually gotta say, I really enjoyed these moments. It was a simple but effective approach to include battles here without just making them cutscenes, and it was also by far the most challenging part of the entire experience. Overall though, gameplay, sadly like story, it has some good ideas. The combat is awesome, but it's just linked to a very average overall package. The graphics here, Unholy Society's strongest area by far. Strong design decisions, a unique look, and the worlds, for the small moments of exploration you get, I will say are pretty beautiful. You even get the occasional Easter egg you can find here and there, like say a comic book. For battles as well then, strong stuff again, interesting enemies, they show personality, and there is 0 repetition in their design, and I'm sure that can be linked to its short runtime, but either way I do really appreciate that. Outside of this then, there's very little else. You get the occasional cutscene that's like a comic book cell variation, but they look really nice, and they also use these to mask a good portion of the loading screens, because to be honest, there's actually quite a lot of loading screens in this game as well. So audio, it's not bad, but there's not a lot to talk about, so I'm keeping this to like 15 seconds. A few minor audio effects, the skateboard, the world around you. There's some pretty repetitive but very suitable music, I'll give it that, and it doesn't get annoying, and then the occasional menu sound. That's pretty much everything. Audio is not bad, it's not great, but let's move on. So the final verdict, and you probably see I've kind of sped up towards the end here because I'm trying to wrap this up quickly. I'm scared I'm going to actually show you too much gameplay in the background, so we're going to do this closeout quickfire. Overall, an interesting cast of characters with some decent personalities inhabit a unique world and idea. Sadly though, that's all let down due to a lot of jokes that just don't land. They're relying on, swearing for the sake of swearing. They're trying to shock you basically. Then there's the gameplay that's both just simple and kind of dull. Battles, I'll give them that, they're cool. But to really put the nail in the coffin, the runtime's just extremely short, and they gave us absolutely 0 warning. Today I'm giving the Unholy Society a below average 4 out of 10. This one, it's for those starved for a 2D action adventure, or simply you feel really, passionate about the storyline concept. To me, it did seem cool on paper. I would have actually been with you day one buying this. But I will say, and we've got to give warning here, it's a chapter-based game, so remember that. This one, it could start off weak and by the end be a masterpiece. Only time will tell though, and I can't judge this on what it could be or the potential it shows, but what it is right now. I hope, actually let's keep with the tone of the game, I pray they can turn things around and give these characters the gameplay and world they deserve. Thanks so much for watching. If you love the Switch as much as we do, hit subscribe, leave the video a like if it helped you out. Tell me what you think of a chapter-based game where they don't warn you about this in the eShop. 1980X actually did that too recently, so I'm curious to see what you all think. And with that, I'll see you all on the next video.